didn't get the win. And, of course, Mo Williams, a part of that iconic 2016 Cleveland championship with LeBron James.
Of course, I was watching especially the other day. It's the year that North Carolina ended up going to New Orleans to win the Final Four. That was the year that you had Charlie Ward. Sam Cassell was on that team at Florida State. Yeah. Expected to do big things, got beat. Second half was a whole different story for Florida State against Carolina that day.
Yeah, they went in there and called it the wine and cheese crowd at the Dean Dome.
And Reed with the rebound for Jackson State. Got to keep an eye on him. He fouled out in the game yesterday against Grambling.
Yeah, he had 3 fouls early in the first half. They played him to start the second half. He picked up that 4th and eventually fouled out not too long after that. So need him in the lineup for Jackson State. But the guy with the ball right now, Tatum, hit those 2 big free throws after struggling from the free throw line last night, but hit it when it counts.
Tatum and McMillan with both huge games yesterday for Jackson State. And Florida A&M, they've just been waiting in the wings for this game.
I want to tell you, the last time they played Jackson State, they lost 80-60. Back in our day, Santoria, they called that taking you out behind the woodshed.
Williams with the ball for Jackson State.
Williams quietly had a strong game last night for Jackson State as well.
So he had 13 points.
Yeah, good finisher around the bucket. Some key offensive rebounds.
Shot missed, and Florida A&M with the basketball.
So a much bigger FAMU lineup. You see Jackson State on their drives trying to do a lot of scoop underneath shots. And haven't had any to go. They might have to challenge these Rattlers to the chest and force the officials to make a call.
And so far, Florida A&M and Jackson, no score here in the first minute and a half.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a ragamuffin start for both teams.
And Jackson State with the rebound. Mitchell with the ball.
Yeah,
Tatum.
Mitchell struggled from the field against Grambling last night. It would be great for Jackson State if Mitchell Jr. could get off to a hot start. Has an opening here for the 3, and he gets it to go.
And finally, Mitchell gets on the board.
That was a good screen, gave him enough of an opening to get a good look, and he nails it.
And Jackson State getting the ball back.
Yeah, a little finesse reverse there from Indalma, but not able to go.
3-0, Tigers on top. Tatum, who had a big game last night, partially blocked, and they will call that foul on Micah Octave.
Yeah, Octave closed out, but he's going to get him on the arm. You see here, Tatum with the one-on-one. Comes off the screen from Williams, pull up at that right elbow, and Octave just swiping that arm. It was maybe a bit of sportsmanship earlier in the pregame warm-ups. Deshaun Ruffin did come out wearing his jersey. He had on basketball shoes, but he sat on the bench. He didn't participate in the warm-up layup line, maybe giving FAMU a look like maybe he'll play. He was listed as day-to-day, but when they came back for the official starting lineups, he had that tracksuit on and the walking boot.
Yeah, talk about the sportsmanship. Huh?
But really caught Grambling off guard a little bit last night, because that was really a game time. Everyone found out that Ruffin wasn't going to go, and they saw the boot.
Florida A&M now with the basketball. Still looking for their first points of this ball game. Jaquan Sanders driving no, and a foul coming up.
And that foul, you see McMillan, he draws it. He gets into the game early. He had a big second half last night. Hit some key three-pointers in that game against Grambling. He was coming off a 3-game injury where he missed 3 games and only played like 2 or 3 minutes in the first half, but they are going to him early because he really warmed up and showed that he was back and ready to go in that second half last night.
Yeah, I asked McMillan, I said, how did you know when you were ready to play, especially coming off that injury? How did you know? He says, you know what, when I came out during halftime and I missed that first shot, but I missed it long, I knew I could shoot because I knew that I could get it long. And so after that, he felt pretty good, and, man, he really came up with some huge shots.
Yeah, he is an absolute streak shooter, and when he gets going, it spells trouble for the opponent.
We talk about a big lineup for Florida A&M, 6'4", 6'5", 6'8", 6'8", 6'11".
Yeah, don't go stand behind these guys at the buffet, Santori. I mean,
no.
Maybe not quite to the extreme of an offensive line, but these guys consume some calories at that size.
Mitchell with the shot. Good.
Good job that time by Shirley.
Reed with the basketball. He is one-on-one on Shirley. Reed with the buckets.
The one thing, it's not that Jackson State isn't tall, but thinner. Like FAMU is tall and big.
Inside, no on that basket. And Williams grabs the basketball. Jamie Mitchell Jr.
This is the Jamie Mitchell the Jackson State fans were expecting to show up here in Atlanta. 2 threes, a dribble drive penetration, 8 quick points. He's setting the tone, is now the leading scorer with Ruffin out. He's the guy that's got to carry the load.
And Micah Octave getting the bucket on the inside. First bucket of the ballgame for him.
Good patience down there. Got the rebound. Little hesitation. Finished with the reverse, using the rim to guard against his defender. 2 points, and FAMU trailing by 6.
Tyler Shirley and Caleb Washington, both from Atlanta on FAMU's basketball team. And here come the Rattlers.
Yeah, that was a bad pass there. You saw the defender coming down the lane. As we get a foul here by Jackson State.
And we have a timeout on the floor. Tyler Shirley will go to the free throw line. That foul is going to be on Rayvon Thomas. That's his first personal, second team foul. We'll take a timeout on the floor here in Atlanta. Jackson State doubling up FAMU early. Back after this. The pep band in the house. Man, it is great to see all these bands. You don't get a chance to see in 3 days' time. You've seen almost every band. Well, almost every band. We still got Southern to see tomorrow. And so great to see these bands coming into the house. All these alums, the Atlanta area full of alums from FAMU, Jackson. So it's just great to see.
I mean, Santoria, there are 2 games happening right now. There's the game on the court, and we have the pep band versions of the Marching 100 and the Sonic Boom of the South. Both of these bands participated with promotional videos that they shot with Lionsgate Film to promote the upcoming Michael Jackson movie that's coming out. And those videos, you can catch them on social media. Man, excellent. Along with Southern University as well. So 3 bands from the SWAC helping promote the new Michael movie that's coming out later this year.
So are you promoting it too, sir?
Well, I just saw it, man. I mean, I'm a big MJ fan, man.
I know you are a Michael fan.
I mean, facts.
Is there a particular Michael Jackson song that you like?
Dude,
others?
The whole Thriller album. That was right in my wheelhouse. I think I was about 8 years old when that thing came out, man. Anything on Thriller. And we might get a Thriller here tonight.
Three-pointer on the way. No good.
Winner of this game goes to the semifinals.
2 points, Rattlers. Antonio Baker Jr.
FAMU with that bad taste in their mouth from the last time these 2 teams met. Jackson State with that 20-point win. Here comes a steal here. A little extracurricular after the play. Officials let it go.
Shirley looking. Three-pointer. Oh, around the world.
Yeah, Shirley thought too long the first time. The second time he says, I'm getting this ball up. Almost gets it down, but it rims out.
Right now, the way Jackson State has been playing, they've been living off the wall.
I see where we're going here. I see where we're going. That's one for Santoria.
Got a great production crew here in Atlanta all week. And for James Crenshaw, they flew from all over the country to come to work with him.
This is the time of the year, man. Our production crew is rolling from tournament to tournament.
Williams goes in for the shot. No.
Hoover.
And it's going to be a foul on.
Did they call it on Hoover, or was it in the backcourt?
Oh, man, they call that on Florida A&M. They call it on Jordan Chapman, the senior from Birmingham.
Was he on the ground?
Yeah, he was on the ground.
I think he might have held the opponent's leg. We were following the action on camera coming back up the court, but it looked like just out of the corner right before he went out of the frame. It looked as if he grabbed the player's leg. I thought the foul was on Hoover up here at midcourt at first.
Well, nonetheless, Jackson State will get the ball, and that foul will be on FAMU. And the ball goes back to FAMU.
The ball movement there.
Three-pointer, no. Ball is tipped, goes out of bounds, goes back to Jackson.
I think this has been a consistent thing. The teams that get the buys, as you see here in transition, nice ball movement. The shot just doesn't go. The first half for these teams that are not playing for the first time until Tuesday, Wednesday, it just takes them some time to get warmed up.
Oh, yeah, we saw that in all three games so far today. You saw that with the Alabama A&M women's team when they played Florida A&M.
They nearly lost. Top seed on the women's side nearly lost.
Yep.
The 2 side on the women's seed lost.
The 1 seed on the men's side
lost.
Hoover with a three-pointer, no.
It's going to be over the back on Thomas.
Foul charge for the Tigers, number 8, Thomas.
Thomas got in foul trouble last night against Grambling.
DeAndre Thomas, the redshirt junior from Houma, Louisiana.
Yeah, he had 3 and had to kind of regulate his playing time last night to balance that foul trouble. Now that was a very smart play by Sanders. Sanders coming off the screen. Both defenders go with him. He made sure he did not make that pass until the defenders were well away from Shirley. So good timing there, but Shirley just could not hit the 3 from the corner.
You know, the good news here, even though they're fouling, they're not fouling and putting guys on the line early.
Yeah, this game not nearly as physical in the paint as we saw last night with Grambling and Jackson State. Those teams were mauling each other last night.
Good fake three-pointer on the way. That is Chapman, the senior from Birmingham.
Very crisp, efficient ball movement along the perimeter for FAMU, and they finally get a 3 to go, their first 3 of the game.
Antonio Baker Jr. with the steal. Shot foul coming up, and that'll be against Jackson State. Let's see who that foul is going to be charged to. That's going to be against number 12. That's Williams, and that's his first personal. We'll take a timeout here in Atlanta. Florida A&M and Jackson State to close out day 3 of the tournament. Back after this. Pepsi SWAC basketball tournament presented by Buick. It's tied at 12 between Florida A&M and Jackson State. Let's go over to Simone Stanley for a report on the sideline.
Coach Ward told the team that they're getting good shots. They're just not falling right now, but to keep attacking. He said when we rebound, we have to go up the court and push it with pace. Coach Williams telling his squad that their defensive pressure has to increase. He said it's early, but we have to be more physical and play with more intensity.
Thanks a lot, Simone. And, what is that like, when you just think about this here? And I was wondering when the officials were going to tell the players to start tucking in their shirts. And finally they do. And they got one more player that they'll talk to after the free throw here.
Yeah, they were a little loosey-goosey. Sorry, FAMU. I know the goose terminology is a little sensitive right now. Maybe too soon. If you know, you know.
Yeah, right. And Williams going in, can't hit the bucket, and the rebound by Florida A&M. Baker Jr. coming away with it.
FAMU on a 10-0 run over the last 3 minutes and change. Back in. Oh, look.
Sanders
Santoria. He faked everyone out, including himself. Oh, wow. Man, Sanders, look at this. Drives, looks everybody off, clear lane. Oh, man.
That is when during film session you're like, what did you do? Shot up no good.
Man, he's going to think about that one for a while. I mean, that was a beautiful move, and he just didn't finish.
Substitution into the game for the Rattlers, 34, Miles DeLama. Into the game for the Tigers.
Miles DeLama into the ball game, 6'11" junior from Ndola, Zambia.
You see Mitchell here. He got hit last night against Grambling and got that Band-Aid across the bridge of his nose, and it has continued on into tonight.
Maybe it's for allergies because the pollen is pretty bad.
No, he got that during the game last night. He was down on the ground. He came back up with the Band-Aid. But he actually started playing a little better after he got hit in the face last night. So maybe it's a good luck charm for him.
Reed gets it out to Mitchell. Mitchell goes up for the shot. No, ball is going around and finally recovered by Jackson State. Mitchell
wanted that foul. He didn't get it. But he does get this three. He'll take 3 over 2, and Jamie Mitchell has forgotten the struggles from last night. He is now 3 for 3 from behind the three-point line.
Already with 11 points here in the ball game. Inside, and the ball goes out of bounds.
Yeah, just a bad post pass right there. Shoots it over the head of the target. You see Deshaun Ruffin there watching from the corner of that Jackson State bench, the player of the year, leading scorer in the conference. But he's been in a walking boot all this week in Atlanta.
I've talked to a couple of coaches who are already in town, and they're not playing until tomorrow. And they said it's just such a long wait. Reed for 3. No. Long 3 here for Sanders. No. Mitchell. Nice outlet pass.
Well, the spacing was just off there when that pass went too long. And Hoover and McMillan were occupying the same space, and that was advantageous to the FAMU defense, and Jackson State eventually turns it over. And you talk about McMillan, he's got in the game early here in this first half. I don't think he's gotten the shot up yet. Well, he has one. He's just 0 for 1.
Well, Hoover comes out of the game for Jackson State.
Jackson State in that 2-3. They played Grambling really tough in man-to-man last night, going zone here.
Nice job on the inside by Jackson State. That was Thomas getting a hand up.
Yeah, Thomas wasn't completely sealed, able to sneak in there. McMillan fouled on the three-point shot.
So McMillan will go to the free throw line. That foul is going to go Jaquan Sanders. 13 fouls, and now McMillan. Big game last night, and now big game McMillan will step to the free throw line.
McMillan at the line.
All he needs is a little bit of space. Gets that screen. He knew he was going to fire it up. Shot was off, but he was fouled, so he's going to go to the line for 3.
First free throw is good.
2 shots.
Coach Mo Williams said in the press conference yesterday that he needed some other guys to step up to the plate, especially with Ebo Wilson out and Sean Ruffin out. Really was going to be important for other guys to step up, and boy, did he have guys do exactly that.
Yeah, Jalen Tatum stepped up big. Haven't heard much from Tatum here tonight, but led the way last night for Jackson State. Was struggling at the free throw line, but when his team needed it the most, he hit 2 crucial free throws in the final minute of that game.
Three-pointer on the way by Chatham. No good. Chapman.
Well, Chatham tried to see that one all the way in, but the key offensive rebound by FAMU. They'll get another shot here. They'll reset the offense with 10 seconds on the play clock.
Antonio Baker Jr. driving. Will kick it back out. Shirley lost the ball. And it's going to be out of bounds, and it'll be Florida A&M basketball.
Yeah, just lost the dribble there. The shot clock was winding down, trying to go one-on-one. That Jackson State defense put the pressure on Shirley, and he steps out of bounds. But the glue so far has been Jamie Mitchell Jr. And the game that he's having is now the de facto leader of this team with Ruffin out. Has 3 3-pointers. A layup as well.
McMillan, no. This time he doesn't get it. Reed, turnaround jumper. No. Ball tips, and he gets the rebound. And it's tipped off of Florida A&M back to Jackson.
Boy, nothing breaks your back more than offensive rebounds. You have good pressure, hand up on the defender, ball takes a bounce, and Jackson State gets another possession.
9 offensive rebounds for Florida A&M, 6 right now for Jackson State. And here's a steal. Coming with the basketball is Chapman. Goes in and gets the bucket.
Yeah, Mitchell got a little ahead of himself, left that ball exposed. Chapman took it away, takes it in for the layup.
Rayvon Thomas with the basketball. Now to Mitchell Jr. To Reed. Reed goes in, can't hit the shot. And everybody fighting for the ball and the rebound, jump ball, and we have a timeout on the floor, and everybody just let go of the basketball.
Hey, fight to the bloody end here.
And so now they're just going to get everybody off to make sure that there are no pleasantries and
you just can't.
Conversations
The thought process is you cannot let the other team have the advantage. That's my ball. Dead ball or not.
Timeout on the floor. We'll be right back. It is a 1-point ball game for Jackson State, 17-16. And after the timeout forced everything that happened before then, the ruling is just a held ball, jump ball. It'll be possession Jackson State. So nothing more, nothing less, but just spirited play.
A little brouhaha. Much ado about nothing.
After timeout, possession Tigers.
The shooting percentage. Jackson State got off to a hot start, but they have only hit 1 out of their last 10 shots. Both teams shooting under 30%. Jackson State shooting 29.4%. FAMU shooting 23.8% here in the first half.
And here is another three-pointer, no. But Reed gets the rebound. Now McMillan, he'll take a 3, no. Reed with another rebound. McMillan another 3, no. McMillan gets the rebound.
Wow. Wow. The offensive board work.
Ball
Can they get one
around.
more? I thought they might pull one more out of the bag there, Santori. But despite all those offensive boards, it's Still close when you look at the total rebounds, 16 rebounds apiece for both teams.
Three-pointer on the way by Antonio Baker Jr. Well, somebody had to end the scoreless streak between the two teams. And now Florida A&M goes up 5-2.
That's the second three-point shot of the game for FAMU. Puts them back on top. Jamie Mitchell has cooled off after that hot start. And McMillan has yet to catch fire. But that won't stop him from shooting.
Now McMillan, long three. No, that's going to be way off.
Yeah, had a hard contest on the closeout there. Good defense by FAMU.
That shot off the rim. And getting the rebound. Rayvon Thomas. McMillan, nice job getting it to Thomas and so he didn't travel.
McMillan's first game back after missing 3 games was against Grambling last night.
Timeout, Tigers.
Timeout Jackson. This is a good timeout here by Mo Williams.
Yeah, that whole play was just discombobulated. And once McMillan fell down while bringing the ball up court, really just got Jackson State out of their wits as we see Hoover. He's about to check back in for JSU. But surprisingly, Santori, I haven't seen a lot of Tatum.
Absolutely. Simone Stanley on the other side is always in the know. Simone.
Always have the scoop. And Tali, you were talking about Jamie Mitchell Jr. having 11 out of the 17 points for Jackson State. That was actually a point of emphasis in that last Rattlers huddle. Coach Ward pointing that out, saying if we can contain him, then they are going to be in trouble, talking about the Tigers. And it was Jordan Chapman who instantly raised his hand and said, I have him, don't worry. So look out for that matchup.
All right, thanks a lot, Simone.
And Chapman came in and got that steal against Mitchell. When Mitchell, coming out of the triple threat, just laid the ball out like a loaf of bread. Chapman got it, ran down for the layup, and Mitchell has definitely cooled off, and a lot of that goes credit to the FAMU defense.
Delisle Williams to the inside to Thomas.
It's Baker with the steal.
No, and a foul coming up.
Baker going strong, elevating, forcing the contact. He's going to go to the free throw line, but we've seen the hands of FAMU coming down, stripping Thomas, getting the ball out in transition, and will now end up at the free throw line.
DeAndre Thomas with the foul, the 6'8" redshirt junior from Houma, Louisiana, second personal. And on the free throw line will be Antonio Baker Jr., the junior from Savannah, Georgia. First free throw is up and good.
We talked a lot about the second game between these two teams in the regular season. It was a 20-point win by Jackson State, but that first game was really close. It was a single-point affair. So played each other closely the first time, but Jackson State the big second half in their second regular season matchup. And pretty close one here. Not great field goal shooting, but FAMU leading it by 4, 21-17. See if Williams can step up. He had some good dribble drive penetration last night against Grambling. Someone else on this Jackson State offense who's going to have to put some points on the board.
Rita Thomas now to McMillan. Ooh, McMillan nearly slipped. Good pass out to Hoover for 3.
And you see the attention that McMillan draws. He's going to be the primary scoring threat on the floor right now with Mitchell out. And he pulls that double team and finds an open Hoover in the corner. Good court vision.
Good pass, but it was taken by Reed.
Yeah, Reed jumped the passing lane there.
McMillan takes this 3. Oh!
It was only a matter of time. He's not hesitant at all to shoot the first 3 of his threes. Not even close, but he gets that one to go. Look for McMillan to possibly get heated up here now.
Inside pass to Shirley with the flush.
Shirley.
Defense rotates over. Shirley rolls to the bucket, gets the easy dunk, ties the game back up at 23.
Delisle Williams with the basketball. And now you see that pressure put on by Baker, getting right out there on McMillan. Out of bounds, it'll stay with Jackson State. Timeout on the floor. Tied at 23 between these two titans of the SWAC. There's Dorian McMillan. Don't get in my DMs, you'll pay for it. And then here is the flush by Tyler Shirley.
Defense steps up. He fills the void where the defense was. The big break. We're tied at 23. More SWAC action when we come back.
Game, see some Alcorn fans here as well. Jackson State. We've seen shirts from all over the SWAC, and it's a Wednesday night, and you've got a good crowd here at the Gateway Center.
Let me tell you, FAMU, you have to show up in Atlanta because I see you all year long. Santoria, you can't drive 2 blocks without those FAMU plates in these Atlanta streets.
McMillan stepped on that baseline, and it goes the other way.
And I would say my unofficial data, just looking at license plates all year long and the license plate covers, I see more FAMU than any other HBCU here in Atlanta.
Really? Now, there's some Jackson and Grambling folks. And
I didn't say that was the only one. I'm just saying the ones I see the most. My unofficial data.
Unofficial data. All right, that's what we'll go with. Shirley turns around and gets the jumper.
And it's one of the largest HBCUs out there, so they have a big alumni base.
And when they have a football game in Atlanta, it is Florida A&M East, or West, I should say.
Oh, near steal there.
Reed.
Oh.
Shot up. Will they count the basket? They count the basket.
Oh, let's count the steps, shall we? All right, let's count the steps. Count with us at home. Picks up the dribble. 1, 2, 3.
Foul charge to the Rattlers, number 22.
How many steps do you get, Santoria?
First person.
2, right? You take 3 as a trout.
2. Well, Reed will go to the free throw line. He'll take a trip to the free throw line. And he gets that one.
All right, Jackson State looking to press. Nearly gets a turnover there. A little up and under off the Euro. No good, coming back the other way. All right. When Thomas sets a screen has been set.
Delisle Williams, nice pass on the inside to Thomas, but he couldn't handle it. Goes the other way for Florida A&M.
Yeah, that pass was a little low there for Thomas. Can't fully fault him for that one.
Florida A&M moving the ball around really good, and they get the three-pointer.
And that's what you want to see. No dribbling was needed or required. The ball stayed in the air. Found the open man. Three-pointer, corner pocket. See Mitchell Jr. is going to check back in. The next dead ball.
Good shot.
Boy, he has such long strides. He could really get across the lane there. Good bucket for Reed.
His strides are like deer, 1.5 steps, and he can get from the three-point line to the basket. Shot up, no. Ball tipped and brought down by Williams, and it's going to be a jump ball.
Jump ball.
We'll stay with FAMU.
Possession Rattlers.
This time of the year, you got to see all bodies on the floor for those loose balls. Every possession counts. See it bouncing around there. Williams on the floor, and it's just going to become a scrum after that.
McMillan is going to get a rest.
It was a good rest for Jamie Mitchell Jr. He spent some time on the bench for Jackson State. He's back on the court now.
as well as Tamarian Hoover, also there, 6'4" sophomore from Yazoo City. Long three-pointer by Sanders, no. Ball tipped. Shirley gets it and puts it back.
Good job right there. So Octave couldn't or didn't want to get the ball because he saw his open teammate down there. Instead of getting the rebound, just tapped it to Shirley. Smart basketball.
Shirley gives the Rattlers the lead by 2. Jamie Mitchell Jr. Williams to Thomas. Three-pointer by Thomas. No, ball is tipped. Hoover puts it back and gets the bucket.
Well, Thomas didn't get the dunk, but he kept that ball alive, and then Hoover able to step up and clean it up, and we're back tied at 30. Tried to pass it right through the teeth of that zone. Got knocked away. FAMU maintains possession.
Good zone play by Jackson State. Ball rotation to the corner. Good on the three-pointer. Michael Octave for triple.
And if you play enough basketball or watch enough, you know a good way to get that team out of the zone. You got to shoot them out of there. Jackson State forcing FAMU to shoot it from the outside. They felt it was advantageous, but some of those shots starting to go for the Rattlers.
And a foul coming up. 4.9 seconds remaining in the first half. And that foul is going to go against Jaquan Sanders.
Foul charge to the Rattlers, number 3,
Oh, yeah.
Jaquan Sanders.
Sanders gets some flush across the face.
2 shots.
Mitchell with 11 points.
At the line is shooting 2.
3 of 4 shooting the 3 for Jackson State.
2 shots.
But the star from last night, Tatum, started this game. Has not played very much since the beginning. He's just 0 of 2. Not logging a lot of minutes.
Timeout Florida A&M. I know they're going to set up something here with 4.9 left in the first half of play.
Ouch. That was right across the grill piece there.
That's one of those that you'll feel later on.
He'll have to get one of those Band-Aids like Mitchell has.
You notice those big chains with the logos on them? Those are pretty cool.
Oh, man. I brought my daughters to the championship game last year. And my middle child, she became a Southern fan. The women in the championship game last year, she got one of those, man. She loves that chain.
I may have to ask about one of those to take home.
Hey, if I bought it, you know it's not that expensive.
Well, the question is, am I going to be able to keep it longer than the first hour that I'm at home? When you go home with things that people look and say, oh, those are nice. Oh, yeah, I picked this up. And the next thing you know, it's somewhere else in the house.
Yeah. Not in your room. I still see it in my daughter's room. So I think it was a good purchase for the Carr household.
July Williams shooting 1. He gets one.
Oh, gets deflected. Could get a good shot.
Jamie Mitchell Jr. for 3. Fourth one of the half to close it out.
And FAMU in disbelief. Going for the home run baseball pass. It gets deflected and just lands right in the hands of Mitchell. There's no one there. Gets a good look at it, and it goes.
Let's go to Simone Stanley with head coach Mo Williams.
Coach, how big was that shot going into the locker room?
It was huge. I knew they were drawing up a play in 5 seconds, so we went to our diamond press, and I just told the guys, it's 4 seconds. Just try to get a steal, try to get a deflection, see if we can get us one. So it's always great when the execution comes to fruition.
What's going to be the key in the second half?
I mean, for us, it's rebounding. We've done a pretty good job all year rebounding. Today, the first half, we've been terrible rebounding the ball, so that's one thing we got to adjust. And we got to find some guys to step up and make some plays for us off the bounce. You know, I got to see if JT gonna be able to go to second half. I'm already got Deshaun out, so I'm just have to manufacture some things and adjust along the way.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so Jason, I should say Jalen Tatum is out of the ball game, so we'll see if he's here in the second half. Interesting development. We'll take a timeout here in Atlanta at Gateway Arena. It's the 2026 Pepsi SWAC basketball tournament presented by Buick. Back after this. Here in College Park, Georgia, Santoria Black along with Tali Carr. Simone Stanley will be joining us in just a moment. We're just about set for the second half. But Tali, first of all, when you start looking at this first half of the ball game, really it was a back and forth after a while. But Jackson State seemed to take things early. FAMU started to find their mojo.
Yeah, FAMU started to hit those three-point shots, and that kind of opened things up. Jackson State has primarily been playing a 2-3 zone, and if FAMU can continue to hit shots from the outside, they're already bigger than Jackson State, a reason why they're packing that zone in. But if they can shoot them out of that zone, that's going to create some situational defense for JSU.
Let's go to Simone Stanley, who joins us after talking with coaches at the half.
Yeah, ask Coach Ward what has happened in the second half for his Rattlers to come away with the win. He said offensively, we have to make open layups. That's actually something that he told me before the game, which was going to be a key this entire game, but obviously he wasn't happy with what he saw in the first half. Defensively, he said, like you said, Tali, we have to contain them on the perimeter and limit those outside shots. He's also not happy with the way his team is rebounding on the defensive end. Jackson State has 10 offensive boards, which is leading to longer possessions.
All right, thanks a lot, Simone. Just about ready for the start of the second half. We'll take a timeout here in Atlanta. Back after this here on ESPN. What they call the Marching 100. Oh, you don't have 100 here, but
no, it is. We just call it the pep band version. You can't fit every. Look, there'd be no seats. They take up half the arena if the whole band was
I remember when I first saw FAMU's band, I was just like, I didn't know that there could be that many people in a band.
Yeah, it's more than 100.
Yeah.
That's just the name, but well more than 100 during football season. And FAMU getting out in transition early in this game. You know, a couple of things to look at is the Rattlers get ready to go to the line. Neither you or I saw it, but apparently Jalen Tatum came up with an injury there in the first half. Only played a couple of minutes, and it's been the walking wounded for Jackson State.
Yeah, you already don't have the services of Deshaun Ruffin, Evo Wilson, and so now Tatum, who started the ball game, we'll have to see if he does what he does do.
I mean, I'm looking down the bench. I don't even see him on the bench, Santori.
Florida A&M gets a steal.
You know, Mo Williams at halftime talked about he didn't like the rebounding. They didn't do a good job. They actually out-rebounded FAMU in the first half, but very high standards for the work that they wanted to do. But I tell you, Coach Williams can't be mad about the offensive rebounding because it seemed like everything coming off the rim that they missed was falling right back into their hands for extra possessions.
FAMU will get the basketball back. Oh, nice block.
And Shirley had the spin, but the good recovery by Thomas there, slapping it off the glass.
Davon Thomas with a big block, and it's still tied at 34. Just underway here in the second half of the basketball game. The winner moves on to the semifinals. Loser goes home.
Mitchell drawing plenty of defenders.
Delisle Williams with the rebound for Jackson State.
Another offensive rebound by the Tigers.
Reed driving. And, of course, Florida A&M right there to stop that. Here comes Antonio Baker Jr. No. And that rebound is Hoover.
Transition leads to transition.
Hoover gets the bucket.
So a missed fast break layup by FAMU turns into a fast break layup by Jackson State, and they lead it by 2.
Foul on the floor.
Foul on the shot.
Yeah, Thomas just
Foul charge to the
pinned
Tigers,
his man
number
down
23,
there.
Ron Thomas.
That's why that lob pass into the post
Possession of Rattlers.
sailed out of bounds, but the foul occurring first. Reed bodying up Shirley. Williams is going to switch over on him. Ball knocked away, but Reed wasn't ready.
Three-pointer on the way, no. Strong rebound by FAMU.
Sanders just can't get it to go right off the front of the rim, into the lip for a second, and then out. Jackson State coming back the other way.
Oh, boy, looked like it could have been a jump ball there. Three-pointer on the way, no.
Another offensive board. These long rebounds going the way of Jackson State. Oh, Mitchell, have to see if he got injured there. Looks like he's okay.
And it's off of Florida A&M back to Jackson State with 4.5 left on the shot clock.
Boy, and it's just a scramble out there for the ball. See Hoover with that looping pass. Reed on the ground. Does a good job to keep his wits about him. Has the ball knocked away, but it's going to remain possession with JSU.
Saw Ashley Robinson, the AD at Jackson State, getting that ball. And pretty good player in his own right when he played at Mississippi Valley. I believe still holds the record for steals in a season at Mississippi Valley. Reed gets the bucket.
Now, the other night you told me Coach Ivory was the top.
For the career.
Okay, Santori. Santori has a PhD in the steals department of Mississippi Valley State basketball.
No, I just write things down because I'm old and I'll forget.
Well, FAMU can't get the bucket there.
Reed with the basketball. He'll drive. Good up and under move by Reed.
He's so long, man. Got it up in the air, brought it down, and up one more time, and gets the layup. Some people might look at the seeding and think this could be an upset by Jackson State, but they've already beat FAMU twice in the regular season. Good contact on the drive there by Sanders.
And that foul is going to be to Delilah Williams.
Third personal, team third. 2 shots.
A two versus a 7. But for a great part of the first half of the season, both Jackson State and FAMU were right there behind Bethune-Cookman, either tied or fighting for that second position. And the conference was so tight this year. There's not much difference between finishing second and 7th, the way the standings and the games went this year.
Into the game for the Tigers, number 1, Dorian McMillan. 1 shot.
So McMillan coming back in. He was 1 of 6, only hit 1 3-pointer in that first half. But if you look at last night's game against Grambling, he didn't have any points in the first half, didn't play a lot, and it was actually the second half where he came alive. So it'll be interesting to kind of monitor and see where the points are going to come from. Will Mitchell maintain his scoring ability in the second half, and will McMillan get hot? It looks like Tatum will be a no-go here in the second half. He was the star last night against Grambling, but apparently suffered some level of injury in the first half of this game after starting.
Free throw is good. There was a substitution issue for Jackson State. They were trying to bring Ree in, but they had already brought another player in that they had to keep in the game.
Oh, Williams just dribbled right back into the double team, has the ball stolen away.
Shirley thought about that three. Boy, he thought about that hard.
Well, Sanders is 0 of 6 from the floor for FAMU. 0 of 4 from the three-point line. Thomas clearing the board for Jackson State.
Khalil Williams, a 6'3 junior from Compton, California, out front with the basketball. Now to Mitchell.
Oh, Mitchell just drives into the force. The Rattlers there out of bounds. It'll maintain with the Tigers when we come back.
We'll take a timeout here in Atlanta. Jackson by 4. Back after this. Lots of fun here. They're giving away a whole lot of great prizes, fans, and now we're at the end of the timeout, and there's always great excitement here.
I tell you what, these free throw shooting contests that we have, you don't get to see them on television, but they're here in the arena. Santori, I can tell by the way they dribble the ball if these guys can shoot or not.
Now that was, you had to do a layup, a free throw, and a three-pointer.
I can tell by the dribble. Some of these people have never played basketball in their life.
They got the right shoes, just, yeah. Jackson State with the basketball.
Well, here's the real entertainment. The real ballers are back on the court here. And we got a real game, a 4-point affair. Jackson State up by a couple of field goals.
And we got the shot clock issue. So they're going to go over to the clock and
possession Tigers.
Make sure everything is in good shape.
So McMillan and Mitchell back on the court together here. So a lot of firepower along with Reed for Jackson State. He rolls on the pick and roll, but he was held there. A little hard when you get jammed up like that. That foul's going to go against Chapman.
Well, there's
now charge to the Rattlers, number 22. Tyler Shirley.
Tyler Shirley was the foul.
Oh, that was on Chapman there.
Well, at first he said 12, but I don't think he was in the ball game.
Somebody with a 2 on their jersey. All right, Williams guarded up top by the taller Shirley.
And Williams will take the three. Oh, he nailed it.
He dipped that shoulder like he was going to drive down the lane. That caused Shirley to sink down, getting ready to backpedal, and Williams pulled up for the three. Sanders still has not been able to connect on a shot from the floor.
So Jalen Tatum came out at 17:33 of the first half. It's 5-0 at that point, and he has not been in the game since.
Yeah, it wasn't anything. I'm not going to say it wasn't major, but it just visually, we didn't see anything that caught our attention.
McMillan with the foul.
The Tigers, number 1, and Dorian McMillan. Second personal, team fourth. Possession Rattlers.
So Jackson State starting to slowly build this lead here, up by 7 points, looking to make it to the semifinals. Jackson State team was in the championship game last year, losing to Alabama State. The Hornets went out on Monday this year, so we'll have a new champion on the men's side.
Three-pointer on the way by Chapman. No. Rebound and the putback good by Caleb Washington.
That time, Bree wasn't able to bring the rebound down and actually tipped it to FAMU and made the basket a little easier there for them on the fight for that rebound.
Winner of this game will play on Friday at 8:30.
Well, Hoover with a tough shot right there. Shirley tries to finish with the left hand. It's no good. Jackson State in transition. McMillan only one three-pointer here in this game. He's 1 for 6.
Hey, Coach Mo Williams telling Williams just to stay right there. Oh, what a block there. Great block.
Williams, good job coming off the screen, but that rim protection on point for FAMU. Shirley with the size. He just bulls his way along the baseline. A little bit bigger than Ree and just forced him out of the way with the body. Near steal there, Williams.
Williams gets it partially blocked again.
Foul charge to the Rattlers, number 11, Micah Octave. Second personal.
Micah Octave gets the foul.
Williams with the spin. Back over the left shoulder and draws the foul. He'll go to the line.
Well, 2 semifinal spots are set on the women's side already. Number 1 seed Alabama A&M has advanced. They beat Florida A&M earlier today. They'll play Friday at 11 a.m. And Arkansas Pine Bluff, the number 7 seed, upsets number 2 seed Alcorn State, sweeping Alcorn State all 3 games. They lost by 5 points, 4 points, and then 3 points today.
Substitution is in the game for the Rattlers, number 1, Antonio.
And UAPB was up big in the second half. Alcorn State made a comeback.
They were up by 17 in the fourth quarter and started making a comeback. But Pine Bluff is on to the semifinals. They'll play the winner of Alabama State and Grambling, who will play tomorrow at 5:30. Alabama A&M will play the winner of Southern and Jackson State. That ought to be a good one tomorrow. They'll play at 11 a.m. Southern Jackson tomorrow at 11 a.m. That'll be a good game to start the day out between Southern and Jackson.
I tell you what, the last 5 to 10 years on the women's side, there have been some great Southern Jackson State matchups here in the SWAC tournament. Remember a couple of years ago, Southern hit that three-pointer late in the game to upset Jackson State.
Three-pointer, no good. Ball tipped, goes out of bounds, and it will go back to Jackson State.
FAMU man-to-man against Jackson State. McMillan trying to operate from the perimeter. Someone's got to come to Hoover. He was in big trouble.
Steal. Antonio Baker Jr. goes up, flows the layup, and it comes down in the hands of Lyle Williams.
How many missed layups have we seen tonight from FAMU?
And Hoover is stuck in the corner.
That's back-to-back turnovers by Hoover.
Three-pointer on the way by Baker Jr. No.
All right, let's see if Hoover can make up for those turnovers.
No. Great defense by Florida A&M. Chapman comes away with the ball. Layup up and good by Washington.
Some rough 3 possessions for Hoover. Jackson State was up 7 not that long ago. It's now down to just a 2-point lead for the Tigers.
McMillan with the basketball now. He'll drive. Goes up for the bucket. No. And the rebound by the Llama. And a turnover. McMillan comes away with the basketball for Jackson State.
I'd like to see Jackson State get the balls in the hands of Mitchell right there. He has not touched it the last few possessions.
And he turns it over.
He has the ball swiped away.
No, and no foul called either. Charlie Ward looking for a foul. And there's a foul against Florida A&M.
Boy, these last few possessions has looked more like the YMCA than NCAA basketball. This is a well-needed timeout for both teams who need to settle down.
We'll take a timeout here on the floor. Sanders does get that foul. We'll be right back to sort it out right after this. Pepsi 2026 SWAC basketball tournament presented by Buick. There you see the sonic boom of the South. Jackson State University band along with the cheerleaders there. And you see inside the bench of Jackson State University, Mo Williams, coach talking to his players. And again, you know, you look at Jackson State, Tatum out, Deshaun Ruffin out, Wilson out. That's quite a bit of scoring out of the ball game right now for Jackson State. And still, they've got a 2-point lead over Florida A&M.
Yeah, and drawing up plans for the last 10 minutes of this game. Simone Stanley has been listening in to the timeouts. Let's check out Simone, see what she has.
Both of these teams feel comfortable where they're at right now. Coach Ward telling his Rattlers to keep getting stops, but make sure they're converting on the other end and making those layups, something that he reemphasized at halftime. Telling the Rattlers, this is just a one-possession game. If we stay together right here, we can go on our run. As for the Jackson State huddle, Coach Williams telling the team, these next 10 minutes, give it all you got. Now, the Tigers did have to remind Williams on the court to be careful with those 3 fouls that he's working with down the stretch.
Mitchell at the free throw line.
One shot.
First one, no good. Hit every part of the rim and bounced out.
One more free throw. And the same thing.
Right before we went to break, when Mitchell went down after he was fouled, Santori, he just looked exhausted, like he wanted to lay on the floor for a while. It's physicality of this game has picked up mightily in the second half. Jackson State still in that 2-3 zone, packing it in and slicing right through the middle. Caleb Washington.
Caleb Washington now with 6 points in the ball game. He's 3 of 7 from the field.
So we're tied at 44, a low-scoring affair. Buckets have been hard to come by for both teams. Jackson State 0 of their last 4. They haven't scored in the last 3 minutes plus.
Foul coming up.
See Williams here.
Foul charge to the Rattlers, number 1, Antonio Baker Jr.
Gets past Baker, draws the contact, almost got it to go, but he'll go to the line. Chance to shoot a couple, and you look at the free throw shooting for Jackson State. They're only shooting 58%.
Yeah, we got a camera person over there who has been having to move out of the way quite a bit.
It is rough in the SWAC. And another missed free throw by Jackson State. These are starting to add up here, as they're starting to flirt with just 50% shooting at the free throw line. And in a tight game, you cannot leave those points on the court.
The other thing I was going to mention is that the first time that these two teams met, what was that, back in January, late January, that was a 1-point game, 66-65. We're kind of on that trajectory here. Shot up and good. Caleb Washington.
Caleb Washington has really come alive Since that last time out, he's hit back-to-back buckets on either side of the goal, driving through that Jackson State zone.
50% from the field, 8 points.
Nearly picked off there.
Mitchell will drive. Nice bounce pass on the inside and taken away. That'll be a foul coming up on Rayvon Thomas.
Yeah, Mitchell's just got to shoot that. There's so many FAMU defenders back in the paint. That's throwing your spacing off. Off that dribble drive penetration, Mitchell's just got to get it up on the rim, especially with the great job that Jackson State has been able to do with offensive rebounding. See Charlie Ward with instructions for his team, the Heisman Award winner when he was a quarterback at Florida State.
Three-pointer on the way by Sanders. It goes in.
Finally. Sanders, before that shot, was 0 of 7 from the floor, 0 for 4 from deep, and that one just barely went in. It took a trip all the way around the rim, but 3 points nonetheless, and FAMU on top by 4.
And now Williams. Jamal Williams takes a three-pointer of his own. No. And Caleb Washington getting the rebound.
Yeah, that was Brick City right there. Kind of forced that one.
FAMU up by 4.
This offense has been hard to come by for Jackson State here.
Washington drives. Tried to get it off to the big guy, DeLama.
Boy, look at how aggressive both teams are fighting for the rebound. Hoover comes away with it.
It's a lot of contact, and the scrum was on the floor.
All right, Mitchell has been in a bit of a drought.
Mitchell can't hit the shot.
Hoover got the rebound, but couldn't hold on to it. Goes out of bounds to FAMU.
We have a timeout on the floor. And there you see Mitchell trying to make something happen here for Jackson State. Ball just ends up going awry and be going the other way when we come back here in Atlanta. The 2026 Pepsi SWAC Basketball Tournament presented by Buick. Back after this. In Atlanta, Florida A&M by 4 points over Jackson State University. And we are under 7 minutes left to go in this ball game, Tolly. And if you're Jackson State, you got to start thinking about your offense, because right now, struggling a little bit from the field.
Yeah, McMillan has not been able to come through. He did hit that one big three-pointer late in the first half, but he's 1 of 7 from the floor. His game and Sanders have been pretty much on par. They're like secondary scorers, can sometimes be the leading scorer for either team. Sanders 1 for 9. McMillan 1 for 7. 2 stars struggling for both teams.
Jackson State 1 out of their last 8, and right there with the dunk.
But the rim is still rocking after that one, and that's right after a timeout. FAMU just blitzes the ball up the field, gets an easy dunk.
DeLama with the dunk. And it's now a 6-point lead for Florida A&M, and another turnover for Jackson State. FAMU on an 11-1 run over the last 4.5 minutes. Jackson State, they're 1 of 8 from the field.
Yeah, we talked about that stretch with Hoover. He had 3 of those in a row, 3 straight possessions. Ball not going in. Wow, a little push in the back on Williams there.
FAMU gets the rebound. Count the buckets as the shot clock expires. Caleb Washington getting the buckets.
And after that timeout, man, it has been all FAMU. here in these couple of minutes of action coming out of that break. They're on the verge of pushing this to a 10-point lead.
Williams, no.
Yeah, you saw from the release that was not going to be a good result on that shot. FAMU Santoria has a chance here to push it to a double-digit lead.
Inside, oh, that's going to be a hold on Reed. You saw that coming.
All jersey. See here, they got the preferred position on the post. Sanders feeds it. I mean, that's no explanation needed.
First personal. Team 6. Possession Rattlers.
5:05 left in this game. 8-point lead for FAM. And this one is going way over the head of Washington. Mitchell goes in, and no. There'll be a foul coming up.
Count the basket.
Oh, they are going to count the basket.
Yeah, you can't, as a defender, you can't touch the rim. As soon as you touch the rim, that becomes goaltending.
Michael Octave with his third personal. Yep.
I don't. Why would you do that?
Mitchell at the line is shooting 1.
That just gave away 2 free points. There's no real reason to grab the rim there.
Mitchell missing the free throw, but he goes on the floor and was scrapping for the ball.
Foul on the floor.
I think there was some confusion. I think FAMU thought he was going to shoot 2 free throws.
That's what I thought.
But since it was goaltending, it just made it an and one. So they were off, and so when he missed it, there was that pause. Nobody really crashed the boards.
Foul charge to the Tigers, number 0 to Marion Hoover.
And so Mitchell was able to get in there and steal his own rebound, but not able to finish as he gets on the ground and the ball squirts out.
Hoover gets the foul, and going to the free throw line is Dalama, 6'11" junior from Zambia. And going into the lineup, Rayvon Thomas.
So momentum on the side of FAMU, but it's not out of hand for Jackson State. They're only down by 6 points.
1-1.
Just a 2-possession game. But the offense has been a struggle here in the second half for Jackson State.
One more shot for Dalama.
Basket is good.
And it's good.
Rattlers convert both free throws.
So back up to an 8-point lead, FAMU. Little token full court pressure here.
FAMU has one player in a walking boot. But aside from the 2 bench players, they really only go about 7 players deep on this bench, or 2 players deep. No. Ball tipped around, and it's brought down by Florida A&M. Here comes FAM. 3-pointer by Sanders. Oh, rattled in and out, no good. And coming down with the rebound was Baker Jr.
Shirley thought about it. He's going to pull it back out.
Foul on the floor.
And that's going to be a foul coming up. Let's see what's going to be charged to.
Looks like Rhee is the guilty party here. And Rhee has had some questionable fouls here in this week at the SWAC tournament. Fouled out last night. Foul away from the ball here.
Foul charge to the Tigers,
so it's going to be
4, Kevin Rhee. Second personal, team 8. And the bonus, 1-1.
The officials are huddling here. They call the players off. Now they're going to bring them back. Not quite sure what that was about there.
1-1.
8-point lead for Florida A&M.
Jackson State shooting 34% in the game, but in this half, shooting just 28%. Right at 28% at 27.8. FAMU a little better, not by much. Shooting 32% this half.
First free throw, yes.
First basket is good.
You see the sigh of relief that DeLama had on his face when that free throw went in?
He's not having a bad night from the line.
At all.
He's now 4 or 5. This is there. And fight for the rebound. 4 players in total end up falling, and the ball just dribbles out of bounds between the players on the ground. It's going to go to Jackson State. See it right there. It's 3, 4 players. Everybody falls, and ball just rolls out of bounds. Going to have to clean the court a little bit. That many players go down, there's going to be some sweat and perspiration on the floor.
Been a lot of the cleaning up of that today.
Williams with the jump stop, but DeLama throws it out. I'll tell you, if DeLama walks past Quinn Gray's office at the football facility,
man,
he might get recruited.
According to this, 6'11", 245. 5 seconds.
5-second violation.
Goes back the other way.
Williams, in a look of disbelief, felt like he had more time as the turnovers continue for Jackson State.
Jackson State shooting one of their last 10. And FAMU on a 12-2 run over the last 4 minutes and 44
Numbers.
seconds. Oh! Miles DeLama with the flush.
And they're struggling to get the ball inbounds here. Everything is hard for Jackson State. With that 2-on-1 break, DeLama saw it all the way. Now an 11-point lead for FAMU.
That's going to be a foul against Tyler Shirley.
Tyler Shirley, third personal, team 6.
That's his third personal. We have a timeout on the floor, and there you see it. Here's another look at this.
This is off the inbound. No dribbles. Well, 1 dribble, 3 passes, 1 dunk. Woo! What a way to finish. You want more? Stick around. We'll be back. You're watching SWAC Turf.
Rattlers talking it over as they have extended their lead out to 11 points with just under 4 minutes remaining in the ball game. Simone Stanley on the sideline has a report for us.
That Jackson State huddle, very calm and poised right now despite the scoreboard. Coach Mo Williams telling the team, we have plenty of time. We have a lot of time. Shrugging it off, he said we do have to get downhill, attack the paint, and of course, finish at the rim. But this team is still highly motivated despite the scoreboard.
All right, thanks a lot, Simone.
You know, Mo Williams as a player, no stranger to comebacks. He was a member of that team, the greatest comeback in NBA history. Cavaliers were down 3-1, 3 games to 1. The Golden State Warriors came back to win 4 in a row.
Jackson State will inbound the basketball. Mitchell will have the ball, and he is defended by Tyler Shirley. Right now, Florida A&M. Mitchell is getting the bucket for 2.
The drought is over for Mitchell. He wanted maybe some contact there. Thought he could have gone to the free throw line, but he gets the 2.
Florida A&M outscoring Jackson State in the paint now, 30-16. Oh, FAMU loses the basketball. And, boy, this is what Jackson State needed. Stop and buckets. Mitchell.
Boy, it's been hard for McMillan to get a shot. He's been camped out behind that three-point line. Haven't been able to get him open.
And that ball gets tipped out of bounds. And Coach Williams telling Williams to go ahead and shoot.
Yeah, he got the spin in there. Look, that FAMU front line, if you can get a shoulder past them, if you can get your hips past them, go ahead and get the ball up. Trying to make those extra passes gives them more time to rotate back into position.
Three-pointer, no, and that was nearly an over the back by Ree. And coming down with the basketball is Antonio Baker Jr.
Yeah, you talked about McMillan and what he told you. When he knew his misses were long, he knew he was back. A lot of those misses have been short tonight, just his second game back after missing 3 to end the regular season due to injury.
Inside to Shirley, nice pass. No, it's going to be a foul coming up as Micah Octave was going to the bucket.
Yeah, good cut there, good find by Shirley. Left the layup a little short, but draws the foul and shoots 2.
Ninth team foul now.
Shirley, boom, with the court vision. Good job by Octave to lean to the left side of the hoop, switch hands there. Not able to finish, but he'll go to the free throw line.
Just the first one.
One shot.
One more for Octave here. 6 points, 9 rebounds, make that 7 points.
Clock starting to be a factor. If you're Jackson State, you got to move fast. You're down 11. We're close to the 2-minute mark in this game. Not many possessions are left.
Foul against Florida A&M.
Foul charge to the Rattlers, number 2, Jordan Chapman.
Chapman is going to send Mitchell to the line. And if you're Jackson State, this is ideal for you because the clock stops. Stopped at 2:11. Now you get the opportunity to put some points on the board. But we talked about the free throw shooting of Jackson State. Man, the points that they have left out there, just 8 of 15. Make that 8 of 16, 50%. You're down by 11. You've missed 8 free throws in this game. Once again, Shirley this time on the alley-oop.
Tyler Shirley with the dunk. And now a foul coming up, and this time it's going to be charged to Sanders.
And once again, FAMU just going over the top of the Jackson State defense. Sanders to Shirley. You see the numbers, you see the elevation, and you see the finish.
Third personal, team 8, and the bonus 1-1. Into the game for the Rattlers, number 10.
3 fouls for Sanders for Florida A&M.
And you start to get the feeling
shooting 1-1.
that Jackson State just did not have enough in the tank tonight, but you talk about the injuries. I mean, 2 absolute ballers from the guard position not able to go tonight.
Williams with the first one.
One shot.
Jalen Tatum played about 2 minutes. He was your star last night against Grambling. An undisclosed injury, he's out of the game. Deshaun Ruffin not able to participate in this year's tournament at all so far. Leading scorer in the SWAC, out with the leg injury.
Timeout, Tigers.
Timeout, Jackson State. We'll take a timeout as well. 1:56 remaining here in the ball game. Media timeout on the floor. It's Florida A&M by 11. Back after this. SWAC basketball tournament presented by Buick rolls on. Jackson State right now trailing by 11 points to Florida A&M with under 2 minutes remaining in this ball game. Action has been going so long that, just way past the media timeout.
Yeah, usually happens, always happens anywhere under 4. We got down to under 2. During the commercial break, Jackson State band played a little neck in Santoria. I've been listening to neck for the last 35 years. When a band plays neck, They feel like victory is at hand. What a turnover here by FAMU. Jackson State still with some hope. Williams along the baseline works his way for 2.
Williams getting the bucket, and it's now down to a 9-point deficit.
Still some time to go. FAMU has to call a timeout here after the double team in the backcourt.
Timeout, Rattlers.
I think they're going to take a 30-second timeout here.
Yeah, you just want to refocus your players. Let them know, hey, we're winning, but we have not won the game yet. We have to continue to do the things with sharpness and crispness like we've been doing all game long. You don't want to get lackadaisical here in the last 90 seconds and let Jackson State back in.
And I think the other thing that's really for Jackson State here, you're down 9, so it's not an insurmountable deficit that you have at 9 points. Stops, buckets. That's how it's very simple. Stops and buckets. But I think it's defensively, it's not allowing FAMU to get inside on easy buckets.
Yeah, and FAMU's been beating Jackson State off of, length of the court, couple of dribbles, throwing over the top of their defense, and finishing at the rim.
Possession Rattlers.
Florida A&M will inbound the basketball.
Oh.
There's
And
a good
another
stop
turnover.
right there. Here's McMillan with the ball. 3-pointer on the way. No. Rebound by Reed. Mitchell, nice job from Mitchell getting the fake. Can't hit the 3-pointer. And coming on with the basketball, Florida A&M.
And that's just been the story for Jackson State in the second half. The buckets, the opportunity to score has been there. Ball has just not been going through the hoop, especially from deep.
Under a minute now. And now Florida A&M just playing a little keep away here.
Yeah, they want to run that clock. Jackson State doesn't have to foul just yet.
3-pointer all the way. Oh, man. Jaquan Sanders with a 3-pointer, and that might have just have done it.
Oh, yeah, that did it.
Mitchell to Reed. Out to McMillan. He'll take a 3. No, but he is fouled. Now, that is not the best foul that you want right there.
No, you don't want to foul a 3-point shooter. You see Sanders here with the fall-away 3 from the corner. He has struggled from deep. But like we saw last night, the shots late are the ones that count. And that was a big 3 to put the necessary cushion, it feels like, over Jackson State.
First free throw is good. McMillan tonight, that's just his 6 points. 1 for 7 from the 3-point line. And that's his second one.
Yeah, McMillan just couldn't find the touch. Had some opportunities, but it wasn't falling tonight.
Tigers 3 for 3 from the free throw line.
Just had a lack of.
3 for 3 from the charity stripe.
Oh, here's a steal.
And another steal. Mitchell, he gets fouled. He'll go to the line for 2.
Foul charge to the Rattlers, number 3.
You see here on the inbound, tries to throw it down the middle. It's slightly deflected. Mitchell is there. He gets fouled. Once again, the clock is stopped. A chance to put points on the board, but man, we have talked about it. Jackson State has struggled from the free throw line.
Oh man, that's what you need right there is the free throws. Right now, Jackson State, when you look at their free throws tonight, 13 of 22, 59% right now.
Mitchell has missed all of his until that point. Mitchell had missed 5 free throws. He was 0 for 5.
1 for 6, 14 of 23 from the line.
Oh,
that one over the head.
turnover.
Now Mitchell has the basketball. Gets it out to McMillan. McMillan shoots a 3, gets it.
Okay.
And now it's a 65-60 ball game.
It's interesting. FAMU did not need an alley-oop dunk. They would have been better off just pulling that ball back out and running the clock. Didn't need that. You don't need that. Time is your friend. McMillan has been cold from 3. He gets that one to go on the pull-up. It's all net.
Three-pointer and a timeout called, and now you've got a 5-point game with 20 seconds left. We've got a different kind of ball game now.
All right, so FAMU does not have to shoot. So Jackson State is obviously in a go for the steal. If you don't get the turnover, you have to foul situation. But, man, these last couple of possessions, FAMU is just – it's like they felt like they had the game wrapped up, and they were getting a little cute out there, and it's turned into turnovers. And Jackson State, it's late, but they're waking up.
2 timeouts left for Florida A&M, 1 for Jackson State. Jackson State 7-0 run in the last 15 seconds, and there it is, and a foul. Hoover is going to pick up the foul there as well.
So Jackson State was deep on this end of the court. Get the double team and get a steal, and Chapman just leaves Hoover and Reed there. Not a lot on the contact, but it was enough. Chance for a three-point play, and we said it once. I'm feeling a little more comfortable now. That might have been enough, as only 18 seconds left on the clock. Chance to go up 8 here.
And they do. And
all right,
you got to stop what you play here.
The clock started running right after the free throw was made, and then they stopped it, and then it started running again, and then they stopped it. So it was a bit of a double pump on the go button over there on the clock.
And McMillan has the basketball. Now, if I'm FAM, do not foul him. That's an air ball, Reed. And he turns it over. Good defense by McMillan. Can't come up with it. Dunk by Antonio Baker Jr. 4.8 seconds remaining. And if I'm FAMU, just don't foul. Three-pointer on the way, no. And Florida A&M survives and advances. They advance to the semifinals coming up on Friday. They will play the winner of the Southern Pine Bluff game Friday at 8:30.
Well, FAMU came back to avenge the 2 losses in the regular season. First a 1-point loss and then a 20-point loss to Jackson State. But an undermanned Tiger team gave it their all in 2 games this week, but just not enough firepower on the court. Injuries really hit Jackson State hard at the wrong time of the year.
Well, I'll tell you what, one of those games, a gutsy performance by Jackson State. Down Tatum, down Ruffin, down Wilson, and that's tough to overcome there. But you can't fault this team. They gave it 1,000%. Sometimes just not in the cards for you. And boy, I tell you what. FAMU, though, on their way to the semifinals. Simone Stanley is with the winning coach with
Tyler. This was a back-and-forth game in the first half. In the second half, FAMU rips off a 14-2 run. What changed coming out the locker room?
Really, we just stayed together. We just emphasized on, staying as a group, and, it worked out for us.
Coach, what was the difference tonight? This Jackson State team got the best of y'all twice in the regular season. Different story today.
Well, just that. The guys were looking forward to this game, and they came out and competed and executed at a high level defensively. That's where we hang our hat. And tonight they scored 60 points. That's a good number for us.
What's the mindset going into the semifinals?
To win.
So I wanted to ask Jaquan about that night-night. He hit that night-night. I need you to come over here. Jaquan, after you hit that 3, you hit the night-night. How long you been waiting to do that?
A long time. Since we lost in Jackson. Definitely this game meant a lot to us, since we lost to them twice. So this was the one that we really needed, and I'm happy we got it. Proud of my team, proud of my coaches. On to the next one.
Congrats.
Thank you so much.
Congrats, guys.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Simone. And so the Florida A&M Rattlers on to the next round after beating Jackson State 70-60. Leading score for Florida A&M was Baker. He had 14 points in the ball game. On the other side, Mitchell, 19 points in the contest. But the story of the game, free throw shooting, was one of those things. 14-23 for Jackson State. 16 of 19 for Florida A&M. The other thing here, Tolly, that I thought was interesting in this ball game is just how big the Florida A&M Rattlers played down low, really dominated the inside game.
Yeah, that rim protection was there. It was hard for Jackson State to score in the paint. We saw the disparity there in the stats. And then when they got into transition, their ability to finish above the rim, especially coming out of a full court fast break off a made basket by Jackson State, just quickly getting the ball up court. And those front court players for the Rattlers able to finish above the rim. But Santoria, here is the proposition. FAMU has made it to the semifinals of the SWAC tournament in Atlanta. Do you know how many Rattlers are going to be in this building on Friday night?
The building will be rattling coming up on Friday night. I can guarantee you that. It's going to be an exciting ball game. Whoever Florida A&M gets, of course, now you got to wait for 2 more semifinal games on the men's side coming up tomorrow, and then, of course, 2 on the women's side tomorrow as well. And then the semifinals will be set for Friday. Some teams have been waiting to play for 3 days now.
Wow. We'll see rest versus rust. We saw a little bit of everything today. We saw a number 1 seed challenged on the women's side, a number 1 seed lose on the men's side, a number 2 seed lose on the women's side. Who knows what's in store for tomorrow?
You never know. Well, we appreciate you watching us here. And, of course, we want to thank James Crenshaw, the entire crew, for Tolly Carr, Simone Stanley. I'm Santoria Black. Thank you for watching. This has been a presentation of ESPN. And always remember, one nation, one people. Peace.